turn now to some important takeaways from that tragic hazing incident at Penn State. Top of the mind for parents and kids alike, the warning signs of dangerous drinking. When should you call for help? Dr. Mehmet Oz, host of the Dr. Oz Show, joins us this morning. Doc, good to see you as always. We can't be naive. This is a tragic story at Penn State. We can't be naive. We have to know it will happen again. We know binge drinking is a huge problem in this country. So let's talk about that difference. When is someone drunk and when are they dangerously drunk?
So drunk, you experience always. You start to stagger, you can't coordinate yourself, you say things you didn't mean to say, maybe you vomit a little bit. That's drunk. What we witnessed in this tragic case, and it will happen this weekend and next weekend because it's the party season as colleges graduate and they have their big events, is something that can become more dangerous, something that monitors and mandates a 911 call. And we made a little list.
All right. First one, the warning signs, inability to wake up.
Yeah, so you go approach a person, they're lying down, they could be asleep, and you get drowsy when you drink too much alcohol, but you got to shake them, yell in their ear, do things that make them a little uncomfortable, and make sure they can be aroused. If they can't, you call 911.
Seizures. People actually go into seizures when they have levels of alcohol in their body that are way too high.
Alcohol affects the ability of brain cells to talk to each other, so they begin to short circuit. When they short circuit, it causes a seizure. So again, any involuntary movement that the person doesn't control is a seizure and mandates you get attention.
Now, what I've learned about this is if you get close to someone who's passed out from drinking, you want to check their breathing, and in particular, you're looking for slow breathing.
Slow or erratic. So if you're breathing less than 8 times a minute, folks at home recognize you're probably breathing right now 16, maybe 20 times a minute. So less than half that is a problem. Your brain is supposed to tell your lungs to breathe automatically. You don't have to remind it. Or if you have gaps of more than 10 seconds without any breath at all, it implies that something's not quite right. You're not really behaving the way you need to. And again, it shows that your brain is disconnecting from your body. You could die from that. Just say, people die from alcohol problems because they crash cars and they handle heavy machinery. They can also die just from the alcohol itself. So that's what we're watching out for.
Any of those 3 things, you call 911 immediately. The parents said a couple of things to me, and we've learned a couple of things from the timeline of this tragedy that stuck out. I want to play you a little tape, and then I'd like you to comment on the other side.
They did a sternum rub. Somebody knew what a sternum rub was and knew that if you didn't react to it, there's a significant issue. They did nothing about it.
You've been in this situation before with other people in that building. They also did something that they have a term for called backpacking. And can you describe that? Do you know what that is?
They put a bunch of books in a backpack, and they put it on the person so the person won't roll over onto their back so they don't vomit into their own mouth.
Again, that comes with experience.
Right.
Let's go back and talk about the first one, the sternum rub. What exactly is that?
So remember the first problem that you'll call 911 for is inability to awaken somebody. You can yell and shake them, but in medicine we use something called a sternal rub to really make sure you're not responsive. So you take the knuckles on your hand, you put them on the bone. Everyone at home, Matt, please do this yourself, and push hard, not the knuckles, push hard with the knuckles. And that bone is very tender if you push hard enough. So you're not going to tolerate that. If you're arousable, you will respond. We use it to see if people are in a coma. Alcohol can put you in a coma. Next thing down the road is you won't breathe anymore. And remember, when you get drunk, your alcohol levels will continue to increase if you already had alcohol in your stomach. So what you're checking for is they're not going to keep getting worse from where they are.
So Tim Piazza did not react to the sternum rub because he was in that desperate shape, and that's when they should have called 911, and they didn't.
Don't pass go, don't collect $200. That's a mandatory trip to the ER.
Have you heard of this backpacking thing?
I've heard of it. I've got kids. We hear it mentioned almost in a derogatory fashion, but imagine if someone says, I'm going to put a backpack on you. It's like saying, I'm going to light you on fire. Here's a fire extinguisher. Put yourself out. Your first step should be to walk away from the conversation. Backpacking is designed for that very reason. They are planning on getting you so drunk that you're going to vomit. When you vomit and you're drunk, and you can't protect your airway, you won't allow yourself to naturally push the vomitus out of your mouth. Instead, you'll aspirate it into your lungs. That is a lethal complication. Backpacking prevents you from lying on your back and sort of locks you into a side position. But yes, in theory, it's a wiser thing than not having it, but why would you be in that situation? Why would you prophylactically do something so dangerous?
And again, as you said so well, these things will happen this weekend, next weekend, and unfortunately all too often. Doc, good to see you. Thank you very much.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.